Hi everyone, I'm going to do my July wrap-up and August TBR. So first, I read The Murmurings by Carly Ann West, and I read this as a library book, so I already took it back. This was a great book. I think I gave it 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 stars. It was really good, creepy. I'm not one to read creepy books, but I really liked it. Definitely kept me up nights wanting to find out what was happening, and it was a great book. Then I read 20 Boy Summer by Sarah Ochler. This was another great book. I really enjoyed this, about two friends and one who has a crush on her friend's brother, and he ends up dying, and then so she has to kind of deal with that, and one of the promises that she made not to tell her friend and the consequences of that. So that was a great book. Then I read To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I love Jenny Han. She's probably one of my favorite authors. I love the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy I read last summer, and this was no disappointment. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I've recommended it to anybody who's asked. I thought it was a great story. Really, really cute. Love Laura Jean. Love all the characters. It was a really great book, feel good book, just to, about a girl who wrote letters to boys that she loved, or, in her previous, when she was younger years, and they get sent out, and it was really good. I love that book. Then I read Beautiful Redemption, which is the final book in the Castor Chronicles by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This was a great ending to this series. I'm really glad I continued with it. Like I said, I struggled so much with the first book, and really wasn't sure if I was going to continue with it, but of course I bought the box set, so I wanted to see if they got better, and they really did, progressively got better. I've books 2, 3, and 4 I've really enjoyed, and I'm currently reading, I believe, Dangerous Dream, which is one of the novellas, so that was a great ending to that series. Then I read The Sweetness of Salt by Cecilia Galante, and this is a book about two sisters who one knows a secret and the other one has no idea, and it kind of tears them apart, and they don't it's how they build their relationship back up, and it was a great story. This is one I pulled out of my TBR jar. Really enjoyed that book. And then lastly I read Winger by Andrew Smith. And honestly, I never would have picked this book up if it hadn't been for BookTube. So many people have recommended it, said it was a great story, and I really did enjoy it. I just finished that today. It was a cute, about a 14-year-old boy who's a junior in high school, and the stuff that he goes through during his year in school. And it was a really enjoyable story, and I never would have picked it up if it hadn't been for people talking about it on BookTube. The other book I pulled out of my TBR jar was like a travel stories, adventures in food, kind of traveling around the world, and it was all stories written by different people, and I read a few of them, and some were good, and then it just started to get horrible. Just not even worth anyone's time reading, not even about food and traveling, and it was just garbage. So that book left the house. I sent it off on paperback swap. I could not get through it, so I DNF'd it, and that's it. So those are all the books that I read during July. And like I said, I just started Dangerous Dream, so hopefully I can finish that. I think it should only take me about an hour. It's short novella, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish that today. And then there's one more novella for the Dangerous Creatures series, so maybe I can get to that. So the books I plan on reading for August, I'm going on vacation the second week in August, so I may have a separate TBR for that, because I really am going to try and take a bunch of books and get a lot read. It's just like a 5-hour drive. So the ones I just chose for the weeks that I'm going to be home, one of them is Pretties by Scott Westerfeld. I read Uglies earlier in the year, I can't remember when, and I enjoyed it. I just didn't want to continue immediately with the series, so I do want to finish it. I have all the books, so I would like to continue the series and see how the story progresses. Then I have Flawless, which is the second book in the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepard. And I read Pretty Little Liars a long time ago, probably over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, and I have, I think, up to like 13 in this series. I'm trying to get them in paperback, but and I just need to continue reading these. I started collecting also the other series that she wrote, the Lion Game series, so I've started collecting that too. So I know there's a lot of books out, and I'd like to get caught up in it. It's just a kind of a fluffy story. I mean, obviously what it deals with isn't fluffy, but it's just kind of one of those books that you can just read, and it's not going to change your life in any way. But I want to get to that one. Then from the library, I have The Sea of Tranquility by Katya Millet, and this story just sounds really, really interesting. I can't really even describe it. Something about a girl named Nastya Kashnikov and a guy named Josh Bennett, and how their lives intertwine. So I don't know much about it. Got it from the library. More drawn in by the cover, and then the back, equals it in interestingness, but I'm not really sure how this is going to be. But I'm excited to read that. And then also from the library, I have Tease by Amanda Maciel, and this one is going to be a little more difficult to read. It's about bullying, about a girl who is commits suicide, and the girl gets blamed for it, and it goes through the trial. That's how it begins. I started, I'm only 8 pages in, so but it starts with the trial, and how this girl has to go see a therapist, and she has to deal with the lawyers, and she's trying to, how much of this is her fault, really. I mean, she didn't actually kill the girl, but the bullying and what went on to kind of cause this end of events. So those are the 4 books I plan on reading. I'm also going to take 2 from the TBR jars. So first from my young adult TBR jar, let's see. I'll take this one. And we have The Lifeboat by Charlotte Rogan. I'll find that one. And then from the adult jar, we'll go for this one. Oh, hopping out. And this is All the Flowers in Shanghai by Duncan Jepson. So those 2 I will grab, and as normally with the books I pull out of my jars, if I'm not going to read them or if they don't interest me, then it's time to get rid of them, because I have over 2,000 books on my shelves in here and in other rooms that I have not read, and it's time to get them read. So if it's something that I'm reading and it's just not doing it for me, then it's going. So that is my July wrap-up and my August TBR, and I will hopefully be back probably the end of next week before I go on vacation to do a vacation TBR. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.